legendary, marvelous Marvin Hagler was the undisputed champion of the middleweight division from 1980 to 1987. Marvelous was a monster in the ring, defeating 11 fighters for the title, all but one by knockout. His undisputed middleweight championship reign of 6 years and 7 months is the longest active reign of the last 100 years. But now, a new era has dawned. The marvelous legacy continues with James Hagler Jr. preparing to take the main stage in the world of pro boxing. James Hagler Jr. was born in Columbus, Georgia, to Tammy Jackson and James Hagler Sr. It wasn't too long into his childhood before he would learn about his papa and his legacy as the marvelous Marvin Hagler.
The earliest memory I have of Papa in boxing is when I put my hand into his fighting glove. I had to be about 3 years old. I think my brother was like a year. We was going to take our first pictures as a kid. I remember when I stuck my hand in the glove felt like cotton around the knuckles. That's actually the glove he fought Sugar Ray Leonard with.
In what would go down to be among the most controversial fights in boxing history, marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard clashed in the ring in 1987. Hagler started the fight abandoning his usual southpaw stance in favor of an orthodox stance, which would prove costly as he lost the first 2 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards. By round 3, Hagler switched to starting rounds in his normal southpaw stance. Hagler would spend most of the fight as the aggressor, while Leonard would pepper Hagler with combinations before retreating away. During the last 30 seconds of each round, Leonard would attack Hagler with a flurry of punches in an effort to steal the rounds on the scorecards. Overall, Leonard landed 306 of his 629 thrown punches compared to Hagler's 291 out of 792 punches. 2 judges had the fight close, 7 rounds to 5 each way, with Judge Lou Filippo scoring the fight 115-113 for Hagler, and Judge Dave Moretti scoring the fight 115-113 for Leonard. The third judge, Jojo Guerra, had Leonard winning by a lopsided score of 118-110, having had Leonard winning 10 rounds and Hagler winning only 2 rounds. Guerra's scorecard was widely derided in the media following the bout. Guerra later acknowledged that he made a mistake and should have scored 2 more rounds for Hagler, a fight that would eventually destroy Marvin Hagler's happiness and outlook on boxing.
That's a real touchy subject. That fight there, 1987, we all remember it a lot because that fight took a toll on not just him, but it took a toll on all of us because he felt like he was robbed in the fight, and he fought so long and so hard to get to where he had to go, and he felt like Sugar Ray Leonard had it the easy way. So after the fight, 1987, we all felt like our grandfather had already died. Our father, Marvin, had already died. That's because he was already going through stuff before then. But that just put that nail on the coffin. After that, he distanced himself from like everybody. He felt like he had to have a whole new life. That's why he moved to Italy.
The robbing of marvelous Marvin Hagler in his fight against Sugar Ray Leonard put the Hagler family in a tough spot. This would alter James's path away from continuing the Hagler legacy in the world of boxing, as his family pushed him into the sport of football as a way to cope with the effects of the fateful match in 1987.
My parents pushed me to play football instead of boxing. My mother and my stepfather didn't want me to mess up my face because they said they didn't want to see me walking around looking like that. On my father's side, it was more about what happened to my granddad, and my granddad was opposed to anybody boxing. So after that, they were just like, just play football, see if you can make it to the NFL. We just want you to push it and go through that way. And my granddad was always saying he don't like the judges because he was like, you have to damn near kill somebody to get a good win, to make sure you secure your win. So until I played football from the ages of 5 all the way to 20, I had like a little spell when I didn't really do nothing from like age of 20 to 24. 24 is when I actually started pursuing boxing.